Hey, it's Jason with jamzDOTnet, cars, DIY and adventures, and today's a DIY project up here at the building. I'm in the front office and I'm gonna install a $299 wireless camera system. Is it any good? Does the wireless pick up halfway decent? We're gonna find out. Now, as I mentioned, this is a backup security camera system with only 4 cameras. This can go upwards more than 4, but this specific setup has 4 cameras. My focus is going to be getting some of the main entry doors. While I have cameras in here that are focused on the whole room, I want something just to do an exact close shot. And along with this camera system, you're going to have to hook it up to a monitor. The monitor setup is going to be in the corner of the room, right over here. So I'm going to basically use my power down here, and I'm going to have a wall mount up here and have the monitor come out on this swing arm. The DVR is right here. It can go Ethernet into a port, or it can be picked up wirelessly. Since I have an Ethernet port up there through the wireless extender, I am going to take advantage of it. And the camera is going to sit right about here, directly facing the door. And then in the rest of the building, I'm going to put one camera there. I'm going to put one camera right up here to face the garage. That will be 2 cameras. I'm going to put my third camera back here, and I'm going to have it facing this door. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to mount it yet. However, more than likely up high right there is my game plan. And then I'm going to put the 4th camera, so I'm getting front door, back door, side garage, and then I'm going to put the next camera in my office in here, directly facing the man doors as well. So I'm going to have it mounted directly that way, more than likely up here in the corner going that way. Now, a really big benefit of this camera system is the fact that it's wireless, meaning all you need to do is hook up the DVR where it goes, the digital video recorder, and that's going to broadcast the signal, and that's going to allow the cameras to communicate back, so you don't have to run Ethernet cables to all of the cameras. They do require power. Let's talk about that, because a lot of the cameras I have in my building are power over Ethernet. Okay, so let's go back into the main utility closet back here. This is where my primary Lorex camera system resides. It runs on a battery backup, and I have about 9, I think it's 10 total cameras on this setup. I have the screen, everything is controlled. This is the recorder right here, and with the recorder, all of the cameras are power over Ethernet. What that means for a setup like this, I don't have to worry about having physical power outlets. So that's fantastic, because my current setup has pretty much a majority of the cameras outside, and I do not have power outlets outside, so that's a huge benefit for that install. Inside, I do have more power outlets that I can take advantage of, so you have to think about when you buy a camera system, is it going to be power over Ethernet, or is it going to require electric cable? So with these cameras, and my first impressions are, they don't seem nearly as heavy duty as my other cameras. I mean, those cameras up here, if you can see that, these cameras are commercial grade, metal casing on top, power over Ethernet. These cameras, the thing that worries me is this little guy here just pops open, and you can just see all kinds of electric stuff inside there. So if that little gasket gets exposed to any amount of severe moisture, and I'm thinking snow where I live, if I had it mounted and got snow on it, that could wreak havoc. So take into consideration, this is a more budget-friendly camera system. I think it will work perfect inside. And why they are wireless, absolutely, they have this, which is going to feed power to a physical power brick that needs to be plugged in. So you're not just going to stick these up. They obviously need electricity, and you got to make sure you have electricity where you're going to put them. So enough of me yapping about these cameras. Why don't we install and get them unpackaged, the xmartO $299 camera system, and see what it's all about. Okay, let's go ahead and get this unpackaged. You're going to get various things in the box. Most importantly, the 4 cameras are going to arrive. They have some plastic wrapping and whatnot on them. You're going to get an accessory box here. You're going to get some stickers, rather large stickers that you can put out to notify everybody you have security. They're going to give you an HDMI cable. They're going to give you various screws and whatnot to mount these. So that's, you know, these are going to be, it looks like mainly for wood or drywall applications. If you're putting these into brick, you're going to need some Capcom screws or something like that. A very short Ethernet cable. They give you the power bricks. This is what I was talking about for the cameras. These are the power bricks that you get. You can see they, I don't think I would keep this exposed outside. So wherever you mount these, this would go through the wall. But the whip, the end of this is, I don't know, 12 inches max. So you need to make sure that you take that into account, that this has to get through that span, because this is what's going to plug into it. And personally, I probably wouldn't want that exposed long term in snow, ice, rain, hot, cold. And then the brick is pretty basic here. Class 2 power supply, output 12 volt. Definitely rather basic. It doesn't have a neutral here or a ground. It's just the 2-prong plug that is going to go in. So that's how the camera will actually be. More screws, and then you get all the different 4 power bricks and a little tiny mouse that will control everything. So that is the primary setup there. This is the actual video recorder. You can see it has rather large wireless antennas, and on the back you have a VGA output, an HDMI output. I am using HDMI for my monitor. They give you the HDMI cable, a WAN, so you could use network cable or wireless, USB output, and 1, 2, they're labeled if it's for the camera, actually, so pay attention. So then you get a little bit of a larger power brick here for the video recorder, and it says on this for video recorder. So just so I don't goof up, I'm going to plug that in right now. So basically, if you look at the instructions, this is the Home and Business Security System Quick Start Guide. What's in the box is what I just described, which is the video recorder. You do not get a monitor. You would need the monitor. 4 cameras, 4 power bricks for the cameras, 1 for the video record, and an Ethernet cable and HDMI. And you basically just plug this in, connect it wirelessly, configure it. Once it's configured, you power these cameras up, and away you go. The NVR, which is what I've talked about already here, the power output, the USB output allows you to connect a flash drive to download video files for long-term storage. So I guess that's nice. You could drag things over to a flash drive. So not a whole lot to connect it, really. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to mount my wall mount over here, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. This is not included. So I want to put my monitor up here, kind of in the corner. So I bought a TV wall mount to do this with. It's pretty cheap. I think I paid 20 bucks for this. And then this plate will basically just go on the back of the monitor. this is the monitor I intend to use. It's just repurposing an old one. So you will need a monitor for this setup. And that's how my plate will go on. And then it hooks to this arm like so. So then I can actually have a monitor mounted up high. Part of my goal with this camera setup is when people walk in, I want them to see the camera right away. The primary system in the back, you know, you don't see it. And I think an added feature, especially for businesses, and this is the front lobby, if people are coming in just to see themselves on camera, frankly, they know it's a legit operational system. So God forbid if somebody was to bust in here, they're going to go through a bunch of security, alarms are going to go off, tons of stuff's going to happen, but then they're going to see their face right on the camera that's getting recorded. Even if they destroyed this system and think they're being smart, I have another one, the main one in the back, which is capturing them. And of course, that has instant cloud upload, so it's impossible to destroy the video. So that is what you want to consider, is you just want to make sure you have a monitor somewhere that you can set this up. I'm going to go ahead and get my system mounted. I'm not going to show you the mounting of the monitor because that's going to be completely dependent on how you choose to do it. So I'm going to cut the camera off. I'm going to get the camera mounted, and I'm going to get this plugged into power and hooked up to the screen, and then we'll show the configuration of it, which is the first step that you'll have to do. Let's go. Okay, so the great thing about this camera setup, it is quick. And let me show you what I mean by that. So I have the monitor mounted on the bracket. You can kind of see up in there, typical install that one would do. And the nice thing is, as far as this little guy goes, it's rather small. I have this hooked up, HDMI in the back. I have the power plugged in and the mouse plugged in. So I have not plugged the power in quite yet, but I will. And if we go over here to the instructions, connect the NVR to a PC monitor with the HDMI. Done. Connect the LAN port to the router. Skip it if you plan to do wireless. Now, I said initially that I was going to connect the LAN port. I've actually changed my mind. I am going to do it wirelessly for this install. And the reason why I decided to do it wireless, because after all, it is a wireless system, and you may not be able to put it where you have the NVR and Ethernet port. Plug it in the mouse, connect it to power. Okay, that's pretty darn easy. Plug the cameras in. That's it. Super easy. Allegedly, when you plug these cameras in, they're just gonna magically connect. Okay, so I'm gonna plug the power in, and I assume this NVR system is just going to boot up. I got some blue lights happening here on the NVR. I have this showing you on the monitor. Look at that. Network video recorder. xmartO. Well, that's pretty darn easy. Okay, so it is asking me to choose a language. So let's go ahead and do this install together. I am gonna select, I gotta get something to put this mouse on because it's being wonky on me. So I'm gonna go ahead and select, and this mouse does not wanna move much for me here. Let me get a magazine or something. It might be the desk that it's sitting on. Well, it just seems like the mouse is very flaky. English. We're gonna do wireless network settings. Wi-Fi detecting, please wait. Perfect signal here. Enter your password. So move the mouse over. Well, no, these don't have keyboards. So it pops up this little keyboard. Let me enter my Wi-Fi password here. Okay, I've entered my Wi-Fi password. Now I'm gonna say next step. Date and time. It is 11:43 a.m. So I'm gonna change it from Pacific time to Eastern time. got that. I don't know what's up with this mouse, but man, it's kind of weird. Save changes. Yes, I want it to do daylight savings time. Sync success, okay. And I'm gonna say do daylight savings, yes. That seems like it's all correct for daylight savings time. So other than this mouse being super weird, everything's pretty easy. Next step, hard drive storage. This is just under, it's 929 gigabytes, so it's probably a terabyte. And then they have storage reserved for the system to run. Next step, see the views of cameras. Turn on your cameras and plug them and you should see live views of the camera. So I am gonna be very amused if this thing works that easy. So I'm taking a power cable here, I'm gonna lay a camera here, and I'm just gonna power it up and see if it really does hook up that easily. I'm gonna have to adjust my cords here, so. Okay, so I have this camera here. I have power plugged in. This is just a test. I'm not going to actually keep it here. And then it just plugs in right back here. So I have it plugged in. I'm gonna put my antennas up for the sake of this. Turn on your cameras or plug your cameras to power. You should see live views. So let's see what happens. I hear the camera moving around and you can see it doing something there. Look at that, it found it that easy. Obviously I have the camera upside down. It's gonna mount like this. But you can see that it's gonna be like this actually. So you can see on the screen up there, I'm gonna face me. Hello! And you can see. So I am incredibly impressed that it was that easy to configure the camera. Well, literally this install takes like seconds. You hook up power to the NVR, that's easy enough. You have a monitor set up. I spent more time installing the monitor because I wanted it mounted high than the xmartO NVR. You power up the camera. This is how it's going to be powered, and it finds it automatically. Let's see what other settings we have. Okay, so I had to make a slight change. This mouse was just absolute garbage, so I just threw it away basically, and I put a much better mouse here, a Dell optical mouse. So after you enter your password, scan the QR code to download the app and register it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this app downloaded, and then we'll go from there. So I would just take my phone, and I would basically use the, just like any QR code, we're all accustomed to that now, right? And I'm gonna download the Wall Pixel app. So I've scanned it. So it is installing right now. I'm gonna actually lay my camera tilted a little bit more so you can see it a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so the app has downloaded, so I can click open. You have no choice but really to agree to the terms, so agree. And now it's gonna want me to log in or set up an account. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I've set up my account and now it says add camera. Please open the location permission. Need to open the location permission used to obtain nearby Wi-Fi information. So, okay, I'll say while using this app, open, allow to use Bluetooth, and it's discovering nearby equipment or I can scan to add. So I'm gonna go ahead and click scan to add, and I'm gonna scan that barcode that it's showing. So I've scanned the barcode. Now it's configure the device. So you basically just scan the barcode on the screen with the app, and that's how it's gonna, I guess, connect it. The device is successfully added. Name your device. Okay. So I am not gonna do cloud storage. Maybe at one point I will, but right now I'm not, so I'll skip that. I will say I don't want to experience that. Abandon that. And now I have the building, and if I click it, I can see the one camera that I have set up, which is this camera right here. So that is me. And that is us filming. So pretty easy so far. 4 other cameras I need to set up, but oh, it says I can talk too. Yeah, I don't think this camera has an intercom. I think that's just if your camera features that it has an intercom. You can go to events and it shows stuff if somebody's active, and you can play the recording back. There's more settings in here as well. A siren settings. Okay. Presets. All the different positions of the camera, because that's what's kind of cool, right? You can go in here and you can control, if I click it, I can control the actual, I'm holding this camera, but I can move, see how I'm moving the actual camera by way of the app. And then you can tilt it left and right. So that's pretty nifty that you can do that. My other cameras are in fact fixed. So now I can just go ahead and say done. And the screen shows the one camera I have set up. It shows that it's online. And it gives me all the other settings. So let me get these other 4 cameras installed, and then we'll do a bit of a review. And I'll show you what the quality actually looks like. Okay, I want to talk about these brackets real quick, because the mounting brackets are a bit different than what I was anticipating. Let's take a look. Okay, so when they ship, the camera is going to ship like so, with this bracket in a fixed position like this. You're gonna notice there's 2 screws, one on each side. So you're gonna have a screw right here, and you're gonna have a screw right here. You're gonna wanna undo those screws, and when you do that, you're going to then get this, where this will come off, because this is how the camera is. This is the top of the cam. So when I said I was concerned about moisture down here, it is at least on the bottom. It's not like that. It's gonna sit like this, the camera. And then when you undo that, you can figure out how you want to mount it. Like, you could mount it like that on a ceiling if you wanted to, you know, where it's basically hanging out just like so. You could mount it flush against a wall like so. So then you're just flush putting it against a wall. You have lots of different options for how you want to mount it. But when you undo the screw, you're going to then basically be able to take this off. You'll be able to mount it however you want to mount it. Then you'll be able to put the camera back on. And then once the camera's back on, you're going to want to take your screws and put in the side again. So that is how the mounting mechanism actually will function. Okay, so you get quite a bit of hardware to mount it. Again, we talked about how it's going to go. This is going to be going against the wall, and then the camera will slot in just like so. So that's how it will look. And then I screwed this physically into the wall. So they give you 4 screws per camera. They also give you anchors if you're going into drywall or something like that. For my application, it's going to be just directly into wood, so I don't need to particularly worry about that. As far as the length of the cable goes, this is plugged in down towards the bottom, And you can see you get a lot of electric cable to go to the camera. So that's not a, that shouldn't be any issue for you at all. But don't mount the camera till you confirm you absolutely have enough cable to go where you want it to go to the endpoint. Okay, so I have it ran. You can see it up there. Again, I have a bunch of cables already here, so I wasn't super stressed out about it, but that's how it looks all mounted. Now let's take a peek. When you know, within the desktop, you can actually go into the camera, and then I can change it. You know, I can make it scroll down, I can make it go up. You got all kinds of control over the actual camera. So what I mean by that is when you're in here, you can click the little movement icon here, and you can go and move it down like I'm doing here, up, left and right. All kinds of good movement on the camera. And it's super quiet when it moves. You can't hear it moving, which is good if you got in like a business and you're moving. You don't want your employees to get all creeped out necessarily because they can hear it moving. I'm gonna tilt mine down a little bit, and that's pretty much the view that I am going for. Okay, so what do I think of these cameras so far? Look, the installation, this has been the easiest camera installation setup I've had in a long time. And I've ran Panasonic, Lorex, Falls Cam, Ring, and I'm sure there's another one in there I'm forgetting. This is absolutely seamless. I didn't have to do anything to my internet configuration. I plugged it up, connected it to Wi-Fi, plugged the camera up, it detected the camera, and away I went. The app install was also super easy, no issues whatsoever. The quality of the camera worries me a little bit if this was in an outdoor environment. I mean, the plastic just doesn't seem as heavy duty. It does have that little opening at the bottom, but again, the camera's gonna be mounted like that. I'm not putting any of these outside, so I can't attest to how it would be, but I can tell you so far, I do like what I'm seeing. I'm gonna go ahead and install the other three, and then we'll tune back in and look at what it looks like, and I'll give you some closing thoughts. And of course, there's a link to the description, a link in the description where you can buy the xmartO camera setup. So let me get these others installed, and then we'll come back and take a look at it on the screen together. Okay, I have all 4 cameras installed. This is a pretty darn quick install. Let's take a peek at the screen of the final camera, and then I want to show you just a recap where each of them are, and we're going to end it with an actual video from the camera system. Camera number 1, front office right here. That's a wireless DVR. No issues at all. Moving into the garage, we have camera number 2 right here. So it's fairly close, all things considered. That's the office, that's camera 2, and it's facing at the garage. A little bit farther away is camera number 3, which we've seen already, facing these doors right there. That is camera number 3. And then finally, the camera that is the farthest away is camera number 4, which is all the way in the back of the garage. Right up here, I used Tapcon screws to go into the brick. And that is camera 4 facing that door. And the office would be all the way up over there on that side of the garage. That's all I got. Again, this is Jason with jamzDOTnet. This is installing the $299 4-channel wireless camera system. I'm gonna go ahead and log in from my house to test the remote connectivity. I have my screen back here. Cut the lights off. You can see if you were to walk in, people are gonna very easily be able to see it at night. And I'm gonna put a video of each camera at the end. So stay tuned. In a few seconds, you're gonna see channel 1, 2, 3, and 4 and what the quality of these cameras look like. I really appreciate testing this. Information below, and I'm gonna pop it up on the screen right now. Have a great day. Give me a subscribe on YouTube. It means a lot. Thanks for watching.
FanDuel. Get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in Maryland.